Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 13 of A Year of Change. Today we're going to sort of touch on a topic that I briefly mentioned in passing a while ago, and I've sort of revisited throughout the week. But to sort of start things off, I've got a bit of a story. A few years ago, I had a friend of mine get into a fairly bad accident while she was walking, of all things, and ended up breaking her leg. Now, this isn't a matter of just having, a small broken bone or something like that. She actually broke her femur, which takes a tremendous amount of force to do. She shattered her kneecap and had to have that rebuilt. She, had extensive surgery done to her leg and, had pins placed into her leg and spent the better part of a year pretty much, learning how to walk again. And we were talking about this the other day because I had mentioned I was doing this video blog and had mentioned that a few months down the road when we start doing exercise, what my plans were with that. And she was able to give me a few pointers that, I probably never would have thought of. Not just something, try running this way or that way, but something that pertains to our situation where we're going from zero activity to start just barely starting out exercise. And, while this is still a few months down the road, probably, or a few weeks, I should say, she was able to give me some pointers just from her perspective, where she pretty much did the same thing, going from being bedridden to now walking regularly. And just things that she found helped her, ease into it a little bit more, how not to put too much stress on it, whether you should go for, an hour-long walk or, 10 6-minute walks. Just little things like that. And so I thought I would visit that today with just sort of putting it out there that, if you have someone that that has achieved something that you're looking for, like maybe it was, they couldn't stop drinking pop. So, and they've gradually gotten away from that. Or they've, they were always eating too much salt and they've sort of gotten away from that. Those are the people that we can go to get those pointers to help ourselves. And not in the sort of way of, I stopped this cold turkey and I started running 5 miles a day. That sort of thing is not going to work for us. It would if we could stick to it, but we simply can't, which is why we're doing this. So what I mean is finding someone that has accomplished something that, you're looking at thinking, I'd like to probably do that during the course of this year, and find out what steps they took, whether it was something, small that they did or, something that was sort of a mind over matter thing. Now, it may not be something that's going to work for you, but, it's going to be one of those things that you can share with the other people here that it might work for someone else. Now, I don't mean, obviously, things like, just stop eating sugar and start eating rice cakes and running 5 miles a day. And, we know what we need to do. So this isn't a matter of saying, put out things that you think are going to help you in a diet or help you lose weight. We know what we need to do to lose weight. Just eat less and do more. But these are just sort of little things that will help in the long run when we're starting out. For example, when we do finally start doing exercise, it's going to be very, very, very small steps at first because for a lot of us, we just aren't used to it. So you're not going to be going for a half-hour walk when you first start out. It's just going to be ridiculous. It's, when we do finally start, getting more and more into that, though, you're not going to be able to get to a point, right away where you can do 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour of, straight exercise because we simply aren't used to it. Some of us have been going for decades without doing it. So there's going to be little things like, during a coffee break at work or something, just simply don't sit at your desk. Doesn't matter whether you don't have to walk around, you don't have to run, you don't have to do anything, you just can't sit down. So spend that time, and just stretch your legs, which, the majority of us are going to be doing anyway. Little things like that, that will help along with those baby steps. And if we go to those people that have already done these things, that are something that we can apply practically to what we're doing, it's going to be a lot more successful down the road. Now, again, it may not be something that's going to work for you, but if you share in the comments or, with the other people that are here in the community, then maybe someone will pick up on something that will work for them. And, in the same respect, maybe you're going to read something that you never would have thought of before that you'll be able to, use and put into practice on your own end. So specifically, when I was speaking with this friend of mine, she had said that when she was doing this, she found that due to the damage to your joints that can be done, especially with people that are fat, and it's just the stress on your muscles and everything in your body. When you're first starting out, things like this, it's never good to do just one session. And even later on, when you're used to this and when it becomes a daily routine, then it's not good to do everything in one big clump. She said it's much easier we were talking about walking in this instance, that it's much better to do 4 15-minute stints throughout the day rather than just one long hour. And she sort of equated it to when you're doing exercise, yes, your heart rate is up and you're going to be sweating and all the horrible stuff that we know comes along with that. But during that hour, you're burning your fat, you're doing what you need to do, and it will keep going. However, if you do that same amount of exercise 4 times in 15-minute increments throughout the course of a day, it's not going to be as much. You're not going to be sweating, and your heart rate isn't going to be as high. That sort of burn isn't going to be there, as high, but it's going to be going all day throughout the day. And there's going to be less stress on your joints and less stress on your muscles, and you're going to probably stick with it a lot more because you're not physically exhausted. So, and again, this is a few weeks down the road, so don't get panicky. We aren't going to start exercising just yet. We need to get our food in order first. So, I'm sorry, I don't know what's in my throat. It's like an animal or something. So, in situations like this, the reason why I'm sort of putting this out here now, because we're getting close to the end of our second week. And, I'm sure that you've probably by now spoken with a couple of people that saying, I've started this program. And inevitably, they're going to say, oh, well, you know what you should do? Drink hot water with every meal. Or, you start just walking for an hour a day. That's all you need. And they don't quite understand that you're not saying, oh, by the way, I've decided I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. So you're going to get those people that are going to offer you what they feel are, helpful hints. And, they probably are if you were able to put them into practice. But realistically speaking, if we could do those things that easily, then we wouldn't be fat. So, take it with a grain of salt. Take the information as it's presented to you. And if it is something that you think that you can apply to it, certainly go ahead and do that. Share with the other people here. But ideally what you want to do is find someone who's already achieved a goal that you're looking for. And I don't mean, go to someone who was, 400 pounds and now they're down to 150 and say, what did you do? Because it's a loaded question. But you can go to someone who maybe, has lost 50 pounds over 2 years or a year, someone that that has accomplished something and say, what started you off on this? Like, what was the first change that you made? Or, what did you find was the key to sticking with it? And it's going to be different for everyone. The things that are going to work for, one person are not going to work for another. But hopefully by combining all that information back and forth and, sharing with each other, then not that it's going to outline, an exact plan that we're all going to be able to follow, but it's something that, I might take something from a suggestion that someone has. And, you might grab something that someone 2 months earlier had put into a comment. Just, again, building that community and that sort of support group that, although we may not be able to actively put things into practice every time, it's going to start giving us ideas, things that we can do to tweak our our program here and there to make things better for us. So, and I know this is sort of a counterintuitive to what we originally planned, where it's, you know, a fat guy and you're, you know, following along with me and going through. But I mean, any information is good information. So if there's something that I can find from someone that I feel is, you know, realistic, then certainly I'm going to share it. A few days ago when we did, you know, we spoke about having dates instead of, you know, chocolate bars or whatever. That's not going to work for everybody. There are some people that are going to just absolutely hate them. There's going to be some people that are going to find out they're allergic to them. But some people are going to use that. Some people are going to say, you know, I didn't like it, but I've tried something similar and this is what I'm doing and things like that. And that, I think, is going to be a good foundation to start things off, so that we can get to a point where, you know, the community is, I don't want to say just helpful, because I think, I mean, that's sort of going to come along with it. But they're also actively putting things out there and saying, you know, this is what's worked for me. You know, especially people that have maybe been through this before, you know, after we're done the year, that you can come back and say, you know, here's what I found was the hardest part. Here's how I got over it. Things like that. Basically just going to those people that have done what we're looking to do and, you know, getting the help and the hints and, you know, the little hidden things that we may not normally see to help us out. So, and that's pretty much it, I believe, for this one. It's going to be a short video today. Essentially just sort of ask people for help, you know, find out what they can offer you. But again, take it with a grain of salt. Take it as it is, and, you know, don't just automatically say, okay, well, obviously that's what I'm going to do. Because for some people, you know, if they say, yeah, I just started, you know, walking 5 miles a day. Some people have the ability to do that. Some of you aren't going to be able to do that. Some of you are, you know, bedridden. Some of you may not be able to walk, you know, and others are, you know, if you did start that, it would cause so much damage to your joints and your muscles and everything else that it would do more harm than good. So, you know, take what you can, share what you will, and, you know, hopefully start building up what I'm looking to do here. Now, as I say, we're, you know, coming quickly onto the end of our second week. So, you know, we've got another couple of days before our next weigh-in. And I'm hoping that the majority of you have stayed below, you know, the numbers. If not, don't worry. We're still working through things. We're still tweaking things around. And, you know, next week we're going to do our first food change, which is actually going to be in addition to stuff. It's not going to be anything taken away, so don't worry. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. And until next time, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.